In the serene town of Lugbe, Abuja, where the mornings were calm and the evenings even calmer, there lived a woman who was the talk of every street, every market, and every whispered conversation in Abuja's elite circles. Her name was Madame Lucy, but everyone, friends, strangers, and admirers alike, called her Madame Lulu. Madame Lulu was a widow. Her husband, a wealthy businessman from the city, had died unexpectedly several years ago, leaving her not just alone but childless. Yet instead of bitterness or loneliness defining her, Lulu had transformed her life into one of freedom, beauty, and unmatched sophistication. Without children to tie her down, she had built an empire of businesses across Abuja, shops in Gwarimpa, offices in Asokoro, and real estate investments everywhere. But her heart, surprisingly, preferred the simplicity of her mansion in Lugbe. The house was elegant, yes, but not ostentatious. Plain walls, wide windows letting in sunlight, overhead tanks glistening on the roof, and a line of luxury cars parked outside. Inside, the mansion was an oasis of comfort, taste, and discreet wealth, soft furniture, ambient lighting, and rare artwork. The quiet neighborhood contrasted sharply with the excitement Lulu's life attracted. Her body and beauty were legendary. Wide, soft hips, a sculpted backside, skin that shimmered under sunlight, men and women alike found themselves mesmerized. She loved both genders, but her particular preference was for women, and she rewarded them lavishly for their attention. Any lady or man who pleased her, anyone who knew how to bring her joy, could leave with cash gifts ranging from 500,000 naira to a jaw-dropping 10 million naira, plus exquisite jewelry from her vast collection of gold, diamonds, and silver. It wasn't just money that made her irresistible, it was the power, confidence, and generosity she radiated. The widowed, childless Lulu lived on her own terms, unbothered by society's judgment. And yet, her freedom and wealth became a point of envy. Across town, Madame Gold and her circle of sophisticated sugar mummies seethed with jealousy. They gathered in her Ankara boutique, sipping coffee and gossiping. "Lulu Day spoil things for us," one said, eyes narrowing as she shook her head. "Yes, oh, she's giving girls and young men 10 million naira for a night. 10 million! How are we supposed to compete?" Another whispered. "I called my smallie to come over last weekend, and she refused. She said she's busy with Lulu. You know what she's doing." A third chimed in. "The widow is playing with their heads and their pockets. She has no child, no husband, nothing to tie her down. She has the freedom to do whatever she wants." And while they plotted, Madame Lulu moved through her days with poise and laughter. She had survived widowhood and the pain of childlessness, and she had built a life that was both enviable and unshakable. One sweltering afternoon, tension came to a head. Madame Flora, one of Madame Gold's closest allies, spotted Lulu outside the popular Lugbe mini-mart. She marched up to her without hesitation. "Stay away from my smallie," Flora said, her tone sharp, a warning in every syllable. Lulu's smile was calm, almost teasing. "They come to me freely," she replied. "I don't chase. I only attract." Flora bristled. "You keep luring them with your money. Be warned, Lulu. Don't think I won't do something." Lulu chuckled, a melodic sound that seemed to linger in the air. You have nothing to warn me about, Flora. They are free to make their choices. I only offer pleasure and generosity to those who deserve it." Then, turning gracefully, she slid into her black SUV, leaving Flora fuming in the heat. Inside her mansion that evening, Lulu reflected quietly. She was alone, widowed and childless, but she had built a kingdom of her own. Men and women sought her, not because she needed them, but because she gave them something they could not resist: attention, excitement, freedom, and wealth. And while envy brewed outside her gates, she was untouchable, at least for now. The rivalry between Madame Lulu and the other Abuja sugar mummies didn't stay inside Madame Gold's Ankara shop for long. What began as petty gossip soon grew claws. Madame Gold and her circle, Madame Flora, Madame Tina, and Madame Cumsey decided they were tired of losing their smallies to the widowed Queen of Lugbe. Jealousy burned inside them like pepper soup in an empty stomach. So they took their plans farther. They began whispering a new rumor around clubs, lounges, hotels, and private hangout spots, the kind of poison that spreads fast in Abuja's nightlife. "Have you heard? Madame Lulu has HIV. That's why she spends money anyhow. She knows you will use the 10 million to treat yourself. Better shine your eyes, so. She is killing people slowly." Some believed it instantly. Fear is cheaper than truth. Some of Lulu's regulars suddenly stopped picking her calls. Messages she sent at night were left unread, ignored, or deleted without reply. It hurt her because she was always generous, always kind. But the rumor didn't shake everyone. In a small pink shared apartment in Kado, two friends gossiped as they ate gari and groundnut. "Me, I'm still going to see Madame Lulu, the Boulder girl," Cynthia said, flipping her braided hair. Last, everybody go die for this world." Her friend laughed until Gary almost came out of her nose. "Yes, oh, no time. Please a beg, carry me along next time. If disease won't catch me, at least let me catch term with money in my account." They both burst into laughter. Some ladies genuinely didn't care. Lulu treated them well, respected them, and paid them better than anybody else. And in Abuja, morality was plastic, but survival was real. Madame Gold took their wickedness one step further. One of her friends had a nephew who owned an anonymous gossip blog, the kind that posted everything from celebrity gist to fabricated scandals for clicks. Within 48 hours, 3 major blogs dropped headlines. Breaking: Abuja sugar queen exposed wicked lesbian allegedly infecting girls. Source: Madame Lulu living lavish with dirty money. Money laundering suspicions rise. Victims speak how Lugba's famous sugar mummy destroys lives with her night rituals. Pictures of Lulu, beautiful, dressed well, smiling, were now being torn apart in the comments section. Trolls stormed her Instagram page like angry bees. "Old lesbian, go and sit down. You'll soon run mad for using people. Your end is near. Watch your back. Money launderer, EFCC will soon carry you. You dare use young girls now, wicked woman." Even though most didn't know her, they enjoyed the violence. That evening, Lulu sat alone on her balcony, the warm lube breeze brushing against her silk robe. Her drink sat untouched. Her phone screen glowed with comments, hate, lies, insults. She read them quietly. Her heart trembled, but her mind was steady. She knew exactly where it was coming from. She knew the style. She knew the handwriting without seeing the face. Madame Gold, Lulu was deeply unhappy. Hurt, not because she feared the rumours, but because the world she had been generous to was now mocking her with the same mouth that once praised her. Still, she whispered to herself, "This will die down. Give it 1 or 2 weeks." Abuja people have short memory. To distract herself from the emotional storm, she called some of her special friends, handsome guys and beautiful girls. Within an hour, her private lounge inside the mansion lit up with music, laughter, perfume in the air, wine bottles clinking and hips swaying. They didn't care about the online saga. They only cared about the envelope Lulu would hand them when leaving and the possibility of earning even more if they performed well. They greeted her with warm hugs. "Auntie Lulu, don't mind them, Jaw. People too get bad mouth. You look good tonight, Ma. Leave, bloggers. We love you." Her heart softened a little, but deep inside, the sting of the insults online still burned. She smiled, danced, drank, but her mind was heavy like a stone tied to her chest. Around midnight, when the music slowed down and some guests drifted to the poolside, one of Lulu's closest companions approached her. Her name was Amara, smooth, dark skin, soft lips, a body built like a goddess, and eyes that held secrets. She had been seeing Lulu for months, not just for money, not just for pleasure, but because something deeper connected them. She sat beside Lulu on a plush sofa and gently touched her hand. "Auntie Lulu," she whispered. "You're hurting." Lulu tried to smile. "I'm fine, my dear." "No," Amara insisted softly. "You're not, and it pains me. Because," she swallowed, her voice trembled, "because I love you." Lulu froze. Amara continued, tears gathering at the corner of her eyes. "I know what we do is business. I know you give to those who please you. I know I shouldn't feel this way, but I do. I think about you all the time. I want to be with you, not because of money, but because I care." Lulu's heart jumped. She liked Amara too, more than she expected, more than she allowed herself to. But she had boundaries built from pain, widowhood and betrayal, and fear that this sudden love might be a trap orchestrated by Madame Gold, fear that someone could get close enough to destroy her, fear that Amara could break her heart or expose her private life. So she pulled back slightly. "Amara," she whispered carefully, "you're special to me, very special. But you don't know who my enemies are. Getting close to me can be dangerous." But Amara moved closer and rested her head on Lulu's shoulder. "I don't care. I choose you." Lulu's breath shook. It had been years since she felt emotional closeness, but now she didn't know if her heart was being revived or set up for destruction. But the jealous sugar mummies were patient. Slowly, silently, they were plotting their moves. For weeks after Amara confessed her feelings, Madame Lulu couldn't stop thinking about her. She tried to brush it off, to convince herself it was nothing but youthful affection mixed with gratitude. But the truth was undeniable. Amara touched her heart in a way nobody else had since her husband died. One quiet Sunday afternoon, while sipping mint tea on her balcony, Lulu made a decision that shocked even her. She was going to give love another chance. So she invited Amara over, not as a visitor, but as someone she wanted beside her. And from that moment on, everything changed. Lulu began taking Amara everywhere. Paris for a week of fashion shopping. Dubai for a luxury desert getaway. Zanzibar for wine by the beach. Singapore for a quiet spa trip. Cape Town for adventure and fun. Amara saw countries she had only dreamed of on her phone screen. Private jets, 5-star hotels, designer boutiques where Lulu simply pointed and said, "Take anything you want, my love." Lulu bought her a multi-million naira house in Jabi, a brand new Mercedes-Benz, gold and diamond jewelry, boxes of Tom Ford, Chanel, and Baccarat Rouge perfumes. Lulu even reduced her wild orgy nights. Instead of weekend back-to-back guests, she now held small parties only occasionally. People noticed the change. For the first time, the widowed queen of Luba was acting like a woman in love. And Amara, she was falling hard too. But she had a secret, a dangerous one. Before all this luxury, before Lulu opened her heart, Amara had been recruited by Madame Gold and her gang. Her assignment was simple. Seduce Lulu, get close, gather information, bring her down. They promised Amara money, connections, business opportunities, fame, everything a girl could want. But they didn't plan for one thing. She wasn't supposed to fall in love. Every trip, every kiss, every soft "good night, baby" broke Amara's heart more. Because Lulu wasn't the monster bloggers painted. She was kind, she was loyal, she was generous beyond measure. And with every gift Lulu gave her, guilt ate Amara from the inside. But it got worse, because Madame Gold wanted Lulu destroyed fast. One evening, Madame Gold summoned Amara in secret. She handed her a black bag. Inside it were packets of hard drugs, enough to lock someone up for life. "Put it in her house," Madame Gold whispered. "EFCC will handle the rest." Amara froze. Her heart almost stopped. But Lulu has done nothing wrong," Madame Flora hissed. "Stop acting stupid. You are part of this plan. Do your job." If Amara refused, Madame Gold would expose her initial involvement. Her life would be over. So, with trembling hands and tears she fought to hide, Amara took the drugs. And that night, she placed them inside Lulu's mansion. Right inside a cabinet close to the private lounge. She cried the entire time. 2 days later, EFCC stormed Lulu's house like thunder. They found the drugs, cuffed her in front of her staff, dragged her into their van. Her neighbors watched. Her enemies celebrated. Bloggers screamed with joy. Madame Lulu, the queen, was arrested. Madame Gold and her friends hugged each other in excitement. Finally, she is finished. Abuja will hear it today. And Amara, she went home, locked her door, and broke down. She cried until her eyes swelled. Her roommate held her and wiped her tears. "You did something terrible," her friend whispered. "But it's not too late." Amara stared at the 20 million naira Madame Gold had transferred into her account. The money disgusted her. She felt sick. She felt dirty. She felt like the world's worst lover. So she made a decision that shocked everyone. The next morning, still puffy-eyed, she walked straight to the police station. She asked to speak to the EFCC team handling Lulu's case, and she confessed everything: how Madame Gold recruited her, how she was sent to seduce Lulu, how they gave her the drugs, how they forced her to plant them, how they planned to ruin Lulu's businesses and life. The officers stared at her in disbelief. Within hours, Amara was placed under protective custody. Police stormed Madame Gold's Ankara shop. Gold and her friends were arrested. Their phones, laptops, and documents were seized. Some bloggers linked to them were interrogated. The anonymous bloggers deactivated their pages. Justice moved like fire, and Lulu, she was released the same evening. Her businesses were genuine. Her late husband had willed everything to her legally. She had expanded the empire and kept everything legitimate. The EFCC apologized to her, but Lulu was heartbroken, completely shattered. Not because of the rumor, not because of the arrest, but because the woman she gave everything to, the woman she trusted and loved, betrayed her. That night, without telling anyone, she packed 2 suitcases and boarded a private jet. Her destination was a small private island in a faraway country, a place her late husband once took her when life became overwhelming. It was quiet, beautiful, safe, a perfect escape. Lulu walked barefoot on the warm sand, letting the ocean breeze touch her face. She needed space. She needed clarity. She needed to heal. She deleted Instagram, turned off her phones, blocked every distraction. For the first time in years, Lulu rested. 2 months later, after Madame Gold and her friends were sentenced to prison for conspiracy, blackmail, and drug trafficking. And after Amara completed her testimony, Amara sent an email to Lulu and requested permission to meet up and apologize, but Lulu declined. At the private island, Madame Lulu met Jacob. He wasn't extremely rich, just comfortable, peaceful, kind, and emotionally stable. The exact type of man she never knew she needed. They connected slowly, started taking long walks on the beach, sharing stories of their past losses, laughing again after months of heartbreak. Little by little, pain turned into peace. Peace turned into friendship. Friendship turned into love. Within 6 months, they had a small, private wedding on the prayer island. No crowd, no paparazzi, no noise, just the 2 of them, 2 candles, and ocean wind as their witness. After the wedding, they returned to Nigeria quietly. They adopted a beautiful baby girl together and raised her as their own. Amara tried many times to reconcile, sending messages, calling, apologizing with tears. Lulu forgave her, but told her calmly, "Move on, Amara. Your chapter in my life has closed. I'm at peace now. You should find your own peace too." And Amara did. Meanwhile, rumors still floated around Abuja that Lulu and Jacob still organized coded luxury parties with a very private guest list. Men, women, rich adults only, but much more discreet now, far from the loud, wild life she once lived. Some believed the rumors, some didn't, but Lulu and Jacob didn't bother explaining themselves. They had money, they had peace, they had a child, they had each other, and that was enough. Stories like this remind us that life is complicated. It also reminds us that love is not always a straight road, but can still lead somewhere beautiful. People betray us, people change, and sometimes the people we love hurt us the most. But healing is possible, and happiness can return from the most unexpected corners of the world. Now, here are some questions for you. If you were Madame Lulu, would you have accepted Amara back after everything she did? The lies, The setup? The betrayal? Would you give her a second chance? Or slam that chapter shut forever? Do you think Madame Lulu still runs her secret coded parties up till today? Or do you believe marriage and motherhood calmed her lifestyle completely? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching. Please leave your opinions in the comment section below. Share this story with your friends and loved ones. And subscribe if you haven't already. We remain Delia's Storytime on all platforms, bringing you the best stories always. See you soon. Bye for now.